we ended up piecing together this model that we now call impact. And I think because of the challenges in our context, it really forced us to dig deep.
We are fortunate to have Dana Bates as a multi-country youth ministry specialist. We can start his model here in Kenya and in Uganda.
We have a special program today. We're bringing it to you from Africa. And we have three incredible individuals that are going to share with us information about their work with OCMC on that continent. Let me introduce them to you. Dan Christopulos is the development director. Father Rob Spaliatos is the missionary director. And Dana Bates is youth ministry specialist. Dan, let me come to you first. Tell me, why are we talking today? What's going on in Africa?
Well, great. So actually, we're here to introduce our newest missionary, who's Dana Bates. And actually, the reason I'm here is because, as you know, I was the first missionary ever who was sent and came here to Nairobi. So Father Martin probably would have done this trip, our executive director, but he was unable to, and he asked me to come and introduce Father Rob and Dana to the various hierarchs. Many of these hierarchs I knew. The Archbishop of Kenya, Archbishop Makarios, and I taught together at the seminary when he was still a layman. And so because of that history, Father Martin asked if I could come and accompany them. And that's what I did. And we're halfway through the trip. We started here in Kenya, and then we leave tomorrow for Uganda for the three hierarchs. One last factual thing I'll point out. When I was here from 1985 to 1988, it was one archdiocese. And it included Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. Now in those three countries, we have 10 different dioceses.
Wow.
So since 1988, that's the growth. So it's really great to be here. And I'm going to let Father Rob kind of explain a little bit why he's here too.
Okay. Father Rob?
So as the missionary director at OCMC, one of the ways that we find opportunities to send missionaries into the field is through our relationships with hierarchs. The primary way that we discover missionary needs is from talking directly to the hierarchs that we are in relationship with. So the hierarchs in Kenya and Uganda, I've been in dialogue with them virtually on virtual calls, phone calls, for the last 6 months or so, and hearing from them what their needs are. And one of the things that we hear often from hierarchs around the world is youth ministry. So a big reason that I'm here today in Kenya is to meet the hierarchs in person and to bring our newest missionary to introduce them and to help set him up for the work that he's going to be doing here in Kenya and Uganda. So it's really exciting. I'll just add one last thing. We're here because we are fortunate to have Dana Bates with us as a multi-country youth ministry specialist. And so our hope is that we can start his youth ministry model here in Kenya and in Uganda, and he'll tell you more about this incredible program that he and his wife have developed. But then after successfully implementing it here, that we can set the stage for taking this to other mission fields that we support. Whether we have missionaries there or not, we can train our missionaries, or we can train the local youth leaders as well to empower them to use the impact model in working with the children. So I'm also really excited because impact is something that I think can be valuable in North America, but we'll get to that after we get it going in the mission field. So,
okay, well, Dana, let's come to you. I'm interested to learn how you become a multinational youth director, and I'm interested to hear about impact. So clue us in, please.
Yeah, sure. I moved to Romania in 1999 as a Protestant. I had really knew nothing about Orthodoxy, but I did have a strong background in outdoor wilderness ministry. I was studying at seminary at the same time, and I wasn't really very satisfied with the connection between the powerful experiences in nature and community with what I was studying. And I like to joke cemetery, but in seminary, and so I moved to Romania in '99, and had this kind of really gap in my experience. And so very soon after, I started reading Orthodox theology, particularly Dumitru Stăniloae, the Romanian theologian. And it was just the scales fell off my eyes, and it was just a matter of, it was 2 years before I converted to Orthodoxy. So But we moved to a really poor coal mining region in Romania, and there's just lots of social issues. And we moved there to start a summer camp. Then a couple of years later, we realized that we needed to do a follow-up program. And I like to call it our accident because we never planned it. From a human point of view, as an accident. From a transcendent point of view, it definitely wasn't. We ended up piecing together this model that we now call impact, and I think because of the challenges in our context, it really forced us to dig deep. And I won't try to explain the model now per se, but it's grown around the world in 40 countries. World Vision adopted as core youth programming. Just one example, in Sri Lanka alone, last year, World Vision opened 1,436 clubs. So it's all over the world. It's like, I just pinch myself sometimes because, we really didn't intend to develop a youth model that's going to grow globally. I think just the local challenges forced us to.
Very good. So is this a program that can be implemented in different countries?
Well, that's right. It has been. Yeah. I mean, we didn't realize that at the time, but it's in 40 countries around the world. Our first pilot was a very, we actually just sent our training manual to a group in Honduras working in Tegucigalpa, the murder capital of the world. Didn't hear anything back. Just thought it was just kind of something falling off the cliff. About a year later, they emailed us back and said, "Impact's going great. We've got 40 clubs and on the streets of Tegucigalpa." And that's when I realized, wow, if this can work in our challenged coal mining region, if it can work on the streets of Tegucigalpa, then maybe it's worth seeing if it can go other places. And just we just again, I feel fortunate to be the one that sort of started this.
Let's talk about, I know that you've now met or you're going to meet 4 of the Kenyan hierarchs. Is that correct?
Yes, we did. Yeah, in the last few days.
And
Yeah.
how do you plan on implementing that model in Kenya and Uganda?
Yeah, it's really encouraging. I'm getting emails regularly from just meetings held yesterday and the day before. The impact is a really, I like to say, elegant model. It's very simple. There's a lot of philosophy behind it, church father quotes and so forth. Like, I can go really kind of deep with it, or much more programmatic. But what we're really thrilled about is that the Nairobi team here, they're extremely talented, extremely visionary. They really latched onto it, and they see it as a vehicle, or the vehicle for scaling a national youth ministry, not only in Kenya, but throughout Eastern Africa, and maybe further. So it's really exciting.
Very good. Well, Dan, thanks for being with us once again. You're always carrying the message. I wish someday I could pack my bags and go to Africa with you. I've never done that. I guess we should do it at some point.
Actually, we would love that, Father Chris.
Okay, and Father Rob and Dana, thank you so much. And Dan, anything you want to say at the end, just to tie things together?
Again, this is just an example of the work that we're doing all over the world. We currently have 19 missionaries in the mission field, and we're looking for new opportunities. If people go to our website, OCMC.org, they'll see all the missionary opportunities that are existing, where hierarchs throughout the world are asking for people, and not just long-term. They want people to come that have specialties. So again, I think that, we take things for granted sometimes in the United States, but for many of these hierarchs, they're really fighting a battle where they need help. And they're telling us more specifically what they need. So thank you always for the support, Father Chris, and your viewership. And I'm going to hold you to it. I think we're going to probably make some more trips here, and I'd love to bring on one of them.
That'd be great. So remember, folks, OCMC.org. Remember not only to follow, but all to support. And I hope that this will have a great impact, excuse the pun here, but an impact on youth ministry around the world. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.